Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures Off-Road Review. Storm is rolling in. Hopefully we can get all this done before it hits us. And we have this 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. One of my favorite off-roaders, especially in the SUV class. This one is possibly the best, especially for this size. I don't know if there's anything that really competes with it. Lexus GX a little bit, but honestly, this thing is almost in a class of its own as far as off-road capability goes. And let's go ahead, get into the high speed, and then do some more fun testing. Here we go. We are in four-wheel drive high. We were in two-wheel drive. Okay, now we're in four-wheel drive high. You can see the indicator right there, and that's it. I'm not doing any of the other settings, but let's go ahead and get this thing on the move. 20. That's such a big bump, and this thing so smooth. You can see, I'm sure on the camera you'll be able to see it tossing me around a little bit, but it is, as far as the suspension goes, just eating it up. No problems at all. These things are so amazing for that. This suspension is extremely well tuned. Smooth all around. The lowest we ever went was 20, closer to 25 through most of it. I believe I did the ZR2 just a hair faster, but again, this is smoother. The ZR2 is such a weird dynamic. It's stiff all the way through its range and never bottoms out hard, never tops out hard, whereas this is much smoother through the range. Still doesn't bottom or top out hard. It's just a lot smoother overall. You can see here in two-wheel drive that the brake-based traction control system works really well, and with the excellent rear articulation on the 4Runner, it's able to make this climb without much effort. Moving on to four-wheel drive, we get pretty much the same results. Again, excellent articulation, very limited wheel spin, and the brake-based traction control makes it up the hill with no problems. Here in four-wheel drive with traction and stability control turned off, we should see no braking action and the wheel should just spin freely, which it pretty much does, and digs a hole there on the front passenger side tire. Shifting into four-wheel drive low automatically disables traction control and stability control, but you have an A-track button, which is the brake-based traction control system that Toyota uses. You simply push that button and you get the brake-based traction control back. You can see how little wheel spin there is here, and I'm able to make this climb very slowly with precise movements. All right, we are in four-wheel drive high. So I pulled the lever down so it's in 4 high. You can see right there, and that's it. So that's all we've done. We're taking the hardest line the whole way. So you can hear the ABS. I'm full throttle. Go. This is the hardest spot. Okay, not gonna happen. Crawl control is not available in 4 high. Multi-terrain select. Rock mode. Oh, you have to be in 4 low for that as well. So mud, sand, and dirt we can do, but that's it. So loose rock, mogul, and rock mode, you have to be in 4 low. So 4 high, mud, sand, and dirt, let's see. And that's what I thought. So more wheel spin in that mode than with just the traction control. And you cannot do A-track unless you're in 4 low. So all these buttons are up here. You can't lock the rear diff unless you're in 4 low. As far as I know, that's not gonna lock. Okay, so that's about it for there. Let's go ahead and hit 4 low. For some reason, this thing just goes right in. And I'm gonna flip the rear locker off for now, but you have traction control and stability control automatically off, and it shouldn't make this, because those actually stay off. Now, we hit the A-track button. It shows A-track right there, and you hear the brakes kick in and immediately makes the climb. So nice not having to worry about boulders on the road or anything, because in this thing you have plenty of clearance. You're not going to scrape and bottom out and all that. So again, there's the camera system. It's nice. So when you're in off-road and 4 low, it brings up all the off-road pages here. It's nice having all these views, but it's just not clear. So we're going to do the low speed test. 4 low, first gear, and I am going to go ahead and lock the rear diff because that'll give the most control. Not that it matters a whole lot. This thing doesn't have super low gearing, and I'm going to be on my brakes for about half of the hill and let off right here. About 5 miles an hour, maybe slightly more. So, I mean, it's not terrible, but nothing amazing either. Oh, that rear locker. Okay. 4 low. Let's just do the different drive modes in 4 low. So we are on mud, sand, and dirt, and I'll go ahead and lock it into first gear. I think we're in second right now. Lock it into first. And again, the hardest line, I imagine in this one, we'll see a lot of wheel spin. I can hear the ABS working a little bit, but definitely a lot of wheel spin there. Let's go over to the most aggressive mode, rock mode. And you can hear the ABS before the wheels really, I can't hear the wheels spin at all before the ABS starts kicking in. So in rock mode, I really feel like these systems are working as they should. They give you a lot of wheel spin in mud and sand. They really limit the wheel spin in rock mode. Gives you better precision, better control when you're rock crawling. Gives you the open throttle you need for mud and sand at higher speeds. I know I've been talking about this more recently. When you're stuck in sand, don't use sand mode. Use rock mode and slowly creep your way out from being stuck. Once you're out and free to drive, flip back over to sand mode so you can go full throttle without any issues. Okay, next up, we're still in 4 low. We're gonna do crawl control. Crawl speed is all the way down. I'm still in reverse. And we'll let the 4Runner take care of all the speed here. I'm not gonna use the brakes at all, no gas. And again, this is the slowest speed setting. And crawl control likes to work on hills, going up or down. It much prefers to be on a hill than not. And last time with just the gearing, I took the easiest line down. We're gonna take the hardest line down. Well, the line that lifts the most wheels. It's not necessarily hard. tire's probably 2 feet in the air. Back on the ground now. Now the other rear tire probably 6 inches up. Still a little bit jerky. And as I mentioned with the Tacoma, I can't wait for the new system that's in the Tundra to be put into the Tacoma and 4Runner. It's quiet, it's smooth, and just as effective, if not more so. Okay, this is getting rough. We're gonna up the speed. So up here it just has low, medium, high, and then spots in between each. So we're at the medium speed. You can hear the brakes are a lot less aggressive, but it's not even registering on the speedometer. So even at medium speed, it's going slower than it did with the gearing only method. Okay. Now we'll use crawl control to climb the hill, and as you guys saw in the Tacoma, I don't have as much, jeez, let's turn that thing off. I don't have as much time as I did when we had the Tacoma, where I tested crawl control at different speeds, but this will make it in the slowest speed crawling up this hill with crawl control. And the difference is between the lower and higher speeds is that little bit of extra momentum. I mean, like I said, you're barely registering on the speedometer here, but that little bit of extra momentum, even at the, let's just do the middle speed, is enough to make it so that the climb is much easier for the 4Runner or Tacoma to make. These things with crawl control, oh, it did stop there. It's gonna figure it out and go. So that's at the 3 speed. If I go up to the 5 speed, and this one does register just barely on the speedometer, about 1 mile an hour, maybe 2. But it makes it a bit easier. Alright. 4-wheel drive low. All that stuff's automatically off. You can see it says 4 low there. Rear diff lock's on. We'll go as slow as we can. As I mentioned with the crawl control, carrying a tiny bit of momentum makes a big difference. So if we get into a deep hole and stop completely, and then try to go, it's going to be harder. I don't have A-Track on. You can turn on A-Track with the rear diff lock on as well. I'm not going to do that right now, just to see how well it can do with just the rear lock. And it was sliding a little bit there. I actually took a slightly easier line. I wasn't paying attention, but the performance would have been similar either way. There's park. I have pushed the parking brake all the way to the floor, and it's not hardly even slowing this thing down. I think the parking brake needs an adjustment.
Up front we see the TRD bash plate, just behind that the front diff skid plate, and then you can see the oil pan tucked up high and the transfer case tucked up, and then there is the fuel tank hanging down pretty low, but it does have some protection over it. Here at the rear you have the spare tire and then the hitch. I did get to go out and have a little bit of fun. We went up a mountain trail with this short river crossing, and we took a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe with us, and it's amazing the difference between the Rubicon and the 4Runner. The extra large tires, 33-inch I believe on the Rubicon, and the higher ground clearance with the rock rails and everything, it made it up this trail so much easier than the 4Runner did, but it was still a fun trail nonetheless.
Just kind of stay to the left. That big boulder's on your right, but you can see it. Yeah.
you're catching just barely on that rock.
Oh yeah, you gotta back up.
Here you go.
Yeah, I know that side. That boulder could be really close.
Where are you going?
Hopefully right there. And I'll pop onto here and check the other side. The other side.
You're good on this side. All right. If you're right, I'd come to the right. Yeah. There you go.
Shit.
Might have to 3-point turn this.
You're pretty good here.
All right.
Cleared it.
Yep.
Yeah, much easier. This trail you need just high clearance.
Ooh.
You want to go up that?
If it clears at the bump.
Yeah, it'll clear. Right up. Yep. All right. You're good. You're good. Where we going to park?
You guys want to try it, or you have more clearance and you... So you can see here why having high quality cameras is essential. Like, you can see stuff here, but not really. It's so unclear and hard to see what's going on that these cameras aren't really useful to me at all when I'm rock crawling. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Quite the mountain goat, quite the high-speed off-roader. Does really well in most terrains. It's not going to rock crawl as well as the Wrangler Rubicon, but it's going to high speed much better. Love this thing. Great vehicle for those who are traveling long distances on dirt roads. Even if you're not doing stuff that a normal 4Runner couldn't do, this suspension makes it so you can drive those roads a lot faster, not worry about shock fade, you know, heating up and losing a shock. So anyway, really love this thing for off-roading. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications. Give me a thumbs up.